All right. So let's go to that Arkansas Tennessee game. That after Vanderbilt, blew up the weekend and made, this weekend what was actually everybody was actually very sad about this upcoming weekend because they thought that there were a lot of good matchups that were missing. And it turns out Vanderbilt, they have that big win over Bama. So then everybody's freaking out. They're like, man, I'm going to go back to the TV and see what else happens. And then, what can I say? Those Razorbacks, they came in.
Them boys down in Fayetteville.
Yep. They came in front of, what's his name? Old Kurt Herbstreit.
Oh
And,
yeah, yeah. They were
yeah,
calling the game.
in
Chris
front of
Fowler.
Herbie and yeah, exactly. Fowler and Herbie and man, under the lights they performed, man. It was great to watch. When they went up 3-0, I still was like, man, this concerns me. Tennessee came out in the second half, scored 14 straight points, and it was 14-3. And I was just like, I'm done with this. I just can't. I'm tired of seeing this as a Hog fan. And then Arkansas turned on the Jets. We got it 10-14, and then Talon Green gets knocked out. And then it's like, no, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. This is going to be the what if game. This is going to be what if this didn't happen. But no, we still were able to score, went up at the end of the game. Tennessee had a minute and a half left to crush some hearts in Fayetteville, and he ran out of bounds at the end of the
Yeah,
game.
embarrassing, embarrassing. Like the one
He
thing, bro,
ran
just
out
chuck
of
it up,
bounds.
just throw it up. He ran out of.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's gonna
Derek,
haunt him. You know he's gonna have nightmares about that.
oh, I know. And
Also,
and I will
yeah.
give this to Derek though, real quick. Is Derek predicted that Nico was a fraud?
Mm-hmm.
And um what were you gonna say before I cut you off, Sam? Just real quick, but then after that, Derek, I want you to kind
Oh,
of explain your Nico situation.
I was just gonna say how crazy it was that Taylor Green even came back in, like, and tried to play.
Dude, yeah. Like
Like he
he
was
looked pretty out
hobbled.
of it.
Yeah,
And he was like, "Put me in, coach. I'll still go in there and run." And then he's like,
yeah,
"Never mind, coach."
yeah. I can't. I actually can't put any weight on this ankle. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, Derek, what's your take on old Nico? Because I remember you were not high on him. You thought he was overrated. And what's your take
Um,
of just Tennessee now? Are they a top 10 team? Can they be a top 10 team? Are they top 10 frauds? Where are they and where are they going to finish this year?
I think that defense is a top 10 team. I don't think that offense is,
Mm,
especially with the quarterback because and definitely the backup. They ain't gonna go far, especially with that backup. Let me just run it with 6 seconds left and not pass it. Not give my team a chance. But here's the thing: Arkansas, they started out great. They start driving down the line. They're at the 40. All of a sudden, they
yep.
pass it. Like number nine, whatever his name is, he goes to the 20, and the ball comes loose. Luckily, the ball went out of bounds
Yeah.
and not somewhere else. You got a hole in the ball. But after
Oh,
that, they get
you
another
saw that,
play.
Derek.
Yeah.
You
And
saw
after
that,
that, they get
huh?
yeah. After that, they get down to like the 10 or the 6 or something like that. And your quarterback, he goes over there. No, it was a touchdown. We're looking this place. He goes to the right. He passes to the
Hmm.
receiver, but he didn't just pass it to him. He passed it low, and now fourth down. Now they got to kick a
Yep.
field goal. That was a good drive. They could have capitalized on 7, but they did.
Yep.
So they got 3 points. Then the whole first half, that's all it was. 3-0. And in the second half, Tennessee starts taking over. And next thing
Hmm.
you know, Tennessee is up 14-3, and
Yep.
then later on it's like 14-10. And you can't do that to teams like Texas. You can't do that to teams like Alabama or Georgia. You're going to get beat. And Arkansas, great win. It's not happening all the time. I guarantee you play that crap on offense, you're not going to do well. You need to check that quarterback you have and find a new one because he ain't the new VY. Because VY would never done that.
Well, we're
What
we're
was
trying to
the?
talk about Nico here, not Talon Green hate over here.
Yeah.
But what
Well,
were we
Nico,
saying, Sam?
Oh, I was
Nico,
gonna say, who had the more time of possession? Did
Arkansas
Tennessee have the ball
by
mostly? Arkansas?
no, Arkansas did by a while. I'll pull it up real quick, but yeah,
well, like I said, Arkansas had it because they couldn't capitalize at the when it mattered. It was
Well,
so short,
yeah. Well, I'm just
and
thinking
yeah,
against like some of these like elite teams are gonna play, like offenses, like you're gonna have to just stop them from getting on the field. And so it's like I
yeah,
want like you want sustained, but of course, like what Derek's saying, like you gotta actually capitalize on it. You gotta have sustained drives that still turn into
right.
points.
And Green did miss a couple wide open reads in the end zone. And that's kind of just been his story is he's kind of a run first guy. He kind of tries to run instead of looking um, down all of his reads, and he misses some wide open wide receivers. Actually, Arkansas has some very good wide receivers in a tight end room that's very good too. So about the time of possessions, Arkansas
And that
had
game, right?
35 minutes.
Quinn
Hmm?
Jackson, he's got some good. I think he's like
Yeah,
third in rushing yards, honestly.
yeah,
Well,
he
I
was
put him
leading
third
the
or fourth.
SEC until last week, I think. So he's one of the SEC's top running backs right now. Arkansas had 35 minutes possession, 35 minutes, 30 seconds, and Tennessee had 24 minutes and 30 seconds. So Arkansas had 11 minutes more than Tennessee. Um, that adds up. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of extra time. Tennessee just could never get in a rhythm on offense, and that was kind of the story. Is if you can keep the possession, on your side of the field or with your offense, Tennessee has a hard time
Yeah,
getting in rhythm.
just control the game.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But here's the thing: when Arkansas scored that one touchdown in the third quarter to actually get and make it 14-10,
Yeah,
that was not a touchdown. Uh, uh, so basically, what happens when he hands off the ball to the running back, you can see he goes in, his elbow drops to the ground before his ball went over into the end zone. That should have never been a touchdown.
they reviewed it.
Yeah, they have horrible reviewers. That was no. His elbow was down.
Jaquinton Jackson's elbow is never down.
Uh-huh. Yeah, by his Arkansas fan over here.
Uh, hey man, we got that thing
Mhm.
verified.
Yeah, you got lucky. Probably not enough
But Derek,
evidence.
what's your take on Tennessee overall, and you too, Sam? What do you guys think Tennessee is at? Are they contenders in the SEC? What happens with Tennessee moving forward?
Well, I think Tennessee's defense is the savior for
Hmm.
that team. It's just they're just gonna have to find a spark on that offense, and their line's gonna have to block because you get into let's say they make it the championship and they go ahead and play Texas in the SEC championship. Guess what? Texas has good pass rushers. You can't do that. You can't let
Derek,
them through.
you don't have to compare everybody to Texas, all right? you
Hey, number one, I am comparing them to
Yeah,
everything. It's like,
I guess that's
well,
fair, but it's
somebody's
just like, bro, they're number one right now. We don't know, man.
they're
They
the
have
they're the
not played
stand they're the
anybody.
standards of the best team, so you gotta compare it to that.
Yeah.
y'all
I
think
think
if
you're right.
you yeah, do y'all think if Ohio State beats Oregon and Texas beats OU that they'll move Ohio State ahead of UT?
It depends. It depends. It all
Yeah.
depends on how bad if it's a close game or Ohio State wins a close game and Texas blows out OU. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
If
that.
see,
oh
I want
if
Oregon to
Oregon,
win, but I think Ohio State's going to actually have a statement. Like I know this is their first like
I do
test, you
too.
know.
Yeah.
mhm,
I think they're gonna test some data, and
I,
it's
I
gonna be
think
like a
Ohio
yeah,
State has been wanting this moment for so many years where it's all just, snowballing of they are so ready to finish this thing. Like Ryan Day is like one of the winningest coaches right outside of Kirby Smart and has like no championship to show for it. So I think this might be Ohio State's year, and I agree with you. I think that they're going to make a statement this weekend. And on the road, I don't really know if Oregon is a championship caliber team or contender, but I do
Hey,
think that
Boise played Austin,
Oregon.
bro. They played on the road too, and that's why I'm like,
Mhm.
Ohio State's gonna, yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
I don't know. Do you think Oregon's a top 10 team?
Mm,
Mm,
well,
mm.
I don't know. It just depends, honestly. It's hard to tell. We're still kind of early.
I
I
know.
know it's week 5, but
Yeah.
we're gonna get a real test, like a scene, because so many people are just barely starting their conference play. Like
I I do
so.
think Oregon is better than OU. I will say that. So Ohio State winning at Oregon, if they're both close games, I would put Ohio State ahead of Texas just because on the road, a bigger environment where Texas is playing a neutral field, and OU is just I'm just gonna be honest with you. I just don't think OU is like a top 15 or top 10 team. Watching them, they went on the road to Auburn and they escaped out of there with a win. They did not dominate
Mhm.
Auburn. Auburn should have won that football game, or OU escaped out of there. So I just I don't think this is a big enough win if Ohio State beats Oregon,
I
and,
don't know,
and
but
Texas
oh,
barely beats OU.
see, OU's defense is really good. I really still believe that.
Yeah,
So, if the offense clicks for them at that time, if they ever play Oregon,
right.
yeah, Oregon loses.
But I'll give Texas this, like they have teams on their schedule to prove everybody wrong, including me, who's skeptical of them. Like if they beat
Yeah,
Georgia, it's like number one, put them at number one. Like if they beat OU, Georgia, they won on the road at Michigan. That's a good enough resume for me to stay number one if you're undefeated with those wins. You
But
know,
what's scary is
but if you
Ohio State.
drop one of those, then what was that, Derek? My bad.
What's scary is Ohio State. They have that receiver who can catch one-handed every time, and
yeah.
you can't have that
Jeremiah Smith,
guy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
guys?
dude,
scary.
he's crazy good, bro. He's
He
like
he's
he's a
good.
one-on-one, like,
Did you
yeah,
guys see that one catch that he had? It was a really cool in the end zone one armed grab, but dude, he was stiff arming the defender with his other arm. Even though it was such a great catch, and he had a couple of these, but of great one arm grabbed. It wasn't just this one, but there was one that got a lot of hyped, and it was like, bro, you are stiff arming the defender. That is offensive pass interference. I don't know if you guys saw that, but like to me, I just had to call that one out. But outside of that one, he does seem to kind of push to get some separation sometimes. I have noticed that with him. But I mean, still incredible skills and like definitely one of the most talented wide receivers out there. It's just sometimes I do feel like he's going to start getting on, or he's going to start tacking on some of those offensive pass PIs possibly.
Mhm.
bro. Yeah, it's like, what's up with all these 17-year-old just like phenoms? Like with
Yeah.
the Alabama one as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I hope that they stay. Like, just
Yeah.
I know it's hard for people to say 4 years anymore. Well, I mean, we got a bunch of like 8-year quarterbacks out in the league right now, but
Right.
you know, um,
Um,
when you're just that good,
mm,
like, just go pro. I hope they stay, just because like that legacy and just how cool it is to see what they're doing in college.
Depends how much they think they're gonna make in the NFL because these NIL
Yeah.
deals can give them a lot more money.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
And then Ohio State has Judkins too from Ole Miss, the
Mhm.
running back from Ole Miss. It's like, dude,
yeah.
they're so loaded, and their defensive coordinators legit. Like they've got a stacked defense. Um, and defense wins championships, and they've got a very potent offense too. It's just like, dude, they're stacked on both sides of the field. It's not quite that LSU team that had Burrow and all them, but it's kind of similar, as in you've got the skill players on both sides of the field that can just torch you, man. Um, that
Dude,
that
we're gonna end
Ohio
up with a
State team is
UT Ohio
dangerous.
State championship or something.
Easy now. I'm just
No,
saying, pump the brakes on UT, man. Okay, so here's the thing. Just
Bro, their
because you
defense.
haven't played anybody doesn't mean that you're not good. But I don't want to start handing people their flowers for beating these not so good teams. If they go and beat OU and then they beat Georgia, sure, I'll be over here. I'll be the first one to be like, hey, I was skeptical of UT, but they've proved it to me. UT is one of those programs that they always get the nod of the head of, hey, we'll put you in the top 10 at the beginning of the season. We'll rank you every year. And there are plenty of years that UT does not, follow through on that ranking. So I'm just
Yeah,
always a
Texas
little
was not.
skeptical of them.
Well, here's the
I don't
thing
know. This
is,
year just seems different.
compared to the rest of the SEC, Texas is the one team in the SEC that hasn't had a close game. So, I mean, to a mediocre
Again,
team.
Derek, I would not start counting your chickens yet because the toughest part of UT's schedule is starting next week.
And I think,
Michigan was not your tough part of the schedule. They
well,
just weren't.
Yeah,
here's the
Michigan's
thing.
awful, but
They're not very good.
OU game, it's a 14.5 point favorite. I mean, Texas is, but we all know that majority, 80-90% of those matches is always going. You want to bet with the plus
Yeah.
because it's going to be a lot
Let's not get
closer.
into that because we're going to get into more of that game in our top 25. We also probably should have done that for the Ohio State game, but we'll try to do that next. I guess with this, we will go into the Heisman talk.